Hello everyone, myself Jubira Siddiqa, lecturer in zoology. Today in this session I am going to discuss about the physiology part, that is from the respiration. In this again the special topic is about that oxygen transport, the transport of the gases. In view of that we are going to discuss about in this module about the oxygen transport. In the next video I am going to discuss about the carbon dioxide transport. So let us see about this. So here blood serves to the transport the respiratory gases. So blood is act as a medium. So what is the meaning of this first line? It indicates that blood is a medium, blood which the gases will be surrounded, or the gases will be flow in the body of individual. So here you can see that blood is a, again it is a connective tissue. As we know, blood is also called as a liquid connective tissue, through which the blood cells has the capacity to the grasp the oxygen, and through that it will be reached to the each and every cellular level. So it is a very much essential medium which act as a medium. So what is the meaning of this first point here? So let us discuss about this first. Before going to understand this, we have to know this topic is regarding to the how the gases will be transport in the system of the individual, or the throughout the system of the individual, and how it could be reached to the each and every cellular level. That is the physiology part, the physiological processes, how the oxygen which is inhaled from external environment and which will be transported to the cellular level through the cellular membrane, through the all the, it will be goes, let me tell you, it will be goes or it will be passed through a medium. It imports it needs a medium through which it will be flow from the each and every part of the cell. So that part we are going to discuss how it will be taken the inhalation of the oxygen, and in this part we are not going to understand the respiratory system, the anatomical part of the respiratory system I am not going to discuss here. As we know, the anatomy part of the respiratory system, that is consistence of like a inhalation, exhalation, where the inhalation process is carried out by the taking of air through the external nares and then internal nares, the nasal sac, and then the nasal sac, and then it will be enters into the trachea and then respiratory bronchioles and the bronchi, and it lastly it will be reached to the alveoli. Alveoli are nothing but again this is called as like what we can call it as like a structural and the functional unit of the respiratory system. So there in the alveoli membrane and at the level of that level, in the deeper level of the lungs or the respiratory mechanism, the transport of the gases will be take place. As such, the oxygen will be inhaled by the inhalation air. At the same time, the remaining the carbon dioxide which will be releases from the each and every cell of the body, that has to be again exhale outside from this through the same system, like from the alveolar cell or the cellular level, the receive the, what we can say here, the carbon dioxide is received from the cellular level, and then it will be enters into then again the bronchia and the tracheal and then external nares, internal nares. So the total process is should be in the reverse in manner. So this is the what let me tell you, well, first of all we have to know the definition. Okay, the definition of the respiration is that where the inhalation and the exhalation process of air, or you can say the gases. So we are studying in the physiological part, so you have to tell the definition is like that: the inhalation and the exhalation process of gases in the terms of oxygen and the carbon dioxide. The terms of oxygen and carbon dioxide, how the oxygen is enter into the body and how the carbon dioxide is enter into the move outside the inside from the outside of the body. So see here, the oxygen which is essential for the cells is the transported from alveoli of the lungs to the cell. So see what is there here, which is essential, the oxygen. First of all, the oxygen which is taken up by the cells, that has to be transported from the alveoli of the lungs to the cells. Suppose this is a alveolar membrane, and here if any tissue is there, if any cells is there, suppose this is another cell, it has to be passed from this alveolar membrane. This alveolar membrane is passing the oxygen to the another or the neighbor cell. Suppose this is again a alveolar tissue. I'll just take the another color. This is a any cells. Okay, and this is, suppose this is any cell, and here the passage of the oxygen is taken up by this alveolar membrane. It will be reach and flow into this cellular or the layer of the cells. And see, the carbon dioxide which is waste products in the cells is transported from the cells to the lungs. So reverse mechanism here, as we know, carbon dioxide and the transport of oxygen. So here suppose this is a alveolar membrane, you can assume that this is like a alveolar membrane, and this is, we will take the another, this is like a cellular, any cellular membrane or the any tissue or the cells. So here vice versa, the transportation of oxygen from the lungs to the tissue, this is the transportation of oxygen. Okay, and from tissue to the alveolar membrane, that is the transportation of carbon dioxide. It will be in the reverse in manner. From the lungs to the tissues, oxygen will be passed. From the tissues to the lungs or the alveolar membrane. Why I am saying here alveolar membrane? Why? Because we are not just dealing with that any primary classes. We are understanding about the alveolar level, the physiological level of that physiological processes of the respiration. So we are taking the cells which are active cells of the respiratory system or the internal structures of the lungs, those are called as the alveoli. So in this alveolar membrane, the transportation of the gases will be take place. So you have to remember that oxygen transport from lungs to oxygen transport from the lungs to, it will be goes to the cells, that is the transport of oxygen. This is the transport of oxygen. Whereas if we talk about the transport of carbon dioxide, it is just vice versa. It is like a tissues to the lungs. It goes to the tissues to the lungs. It is like a vice versa. This is the transportation of carbon dioxide. The movement of carbon dioxide which will be formed as a physiological processes, the remaining product that will be secreted into the lungs, and from the lungs again it will be goes to the like bronchi and the bronchioles and the tubercles, or you can say here like the tracheal tubules, and then it will be passes outside the nasal chambers. So this is the transportation of oxygen. In the next schedule or in the next class, I am going to describe about the transportation of the carbon dioxide. So let us see here, the oxygen is transported from the alveoli to the tissues by the blood in the two forms. So what we are saying, so first of all, before understanding this, what we had understand just now, we understand about that the transportation of oxygen, it will be take place from the lungs to the tissues. Okay, and then how it will be transport, it will be transport by the two methods. The transportation of oxygen is carried out by two methods. What are these two methods? So see here, the first method is about as a simple physical solution. Just it will be solved into the bloodstream, and then it will be passed into the each and every cell. And the another form is that the passing of the oxygen, it will be carried out with the help of like a hemoglobin. This is the major percentage. You can see here the 97 percentage, which is again bigger amount there. The 97 percentage of the blood or the oxygen is carried out by the hemoglobin. You can ask one question that how it will be take place only with the presence of hemoglobin. Why? Because hemoglobin has the capacity, it has that efficiency. Hemoglobin has the efficiency to hold the oxygen molecules. Hemoglobin is only has that much of higher capacity or the efficiency to hold the oxygen molecules, and that will be passes to the each and every cellular level. So now if we see about the transportation of the oxygen, basically it will be carried out by the two methods. One is like a simple, that will be directly dissolved into the simple solution, and another one is like a, it is combined with the hemoglobin. So major part 97% is like a combination with the hemoglobin, whereas the 3% is the combined with the normal directly dissolved into the solution. So dissolved is in the form of like a, here it is also showing in this picture, that is the 2%, and then here the 96%, or you can say 98%, sorry, or you can also draw this diagram or the pie chart like the 97%, the major part is about 97%, which is the combination of the hemoglobin, and another one, the remaining part is about that which is directly dissolved into the solution of the body. And so let us see here one by one the simple physical solution, how it will be dissolved. Oxygen dissolved in water of the plasma. So what we are saying here, the dissolved in directly dissolved into and form as a physical solution. So what is the physical solution? The blood plasma. It is directly enter into the blood plasma, and how much it will be take place, like a 0.3 milliliter per 100 milliliter of the plasma. 0.32 per 100 milliliter means it may be approximate about 3% of total oxygen. Pure solubility of the oxygen in the water content of plasma. What it means poor solubility, sorry, poor solubility means it is a weakened strength, it will be show somewhat weakened capacity than combination with the hemoglobin, than compared to the hemoglobin. So then the during the exercise, the type of oxy transport is used to meet the excess demand of oxygen by the tissues. So tissue requires more oxygen by the process of exercise. So the first method is that how it will be dissolved. It will be dissolved in the two forms. The first form is like a simple physical solution where it is dissolved in the blood plasma. How much it will be dissolved? Only the 3% is dissolved in the blood plasma directly, but it shows somewhat poor in solubility. And the another process is like in the combination with hemoglobin, when it is combined with the hemoglobin. As we know, what is the hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is nothing but again a protein structure. Okay, and this oxygen combines with this hemoglobin in the blood, transported as oxyhemoglobin. So if you want to write the in the form of like a equation, you can write like this. This is the oxygen plus hemoglobin, it forms the oxyhemoglobin, HbO2. This is a oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin, how it will be formed? By the combination of oxygen. See, when the oxygen is combined with the hemoglobin, this is the oxygen and this is the hemoglobin. If it is combined with the hemoglobin, as a result, it forms the oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin is formed. This is the HbO2. Oxyhemoglobin is formed. So why it is formed oxyhemoglobin? So it has some vacancy to hold the oxygen molecules. The hemoglobin has the capacity or the vacancy to hold the oxygen molecules. This is the maximum amount. How much it will be take? It will be take place by the 97%, which is again the larger amount of the oxygen which will be carried out with the help of hemoglobin. So see here, the oxygen combines with the hemoglobin in the process of oxygenation and not oxidation. There is a little bit difference between the oxygenation and the oxidation. Does not change the ferrous of hemoglobin. So what is the oxidation? Oxidation is commonly if the burning of any substances are the in the presence of oxygen, but here it is not changing the structure of hemoglobin. Whatever the iron molecule is, the ferrous molecule is there, iron atom is there, or the ferrous, which is again in the form of ferrous. It is not changing in this process, where it is in the process of oxygenation process is carried out. It is not the so there is a somewhat little bit change in between the oxidation and the oxygenation, but here in this process the hemoglobin is carried the oxygen via the process of oxygenation. It will be carried out with the help of like oxygenation. The generation of the oxygen is take place, not than the burning or the breakdown of the oxygen. And oxygen can be readily released from the hemoglobin when it is required. So see here, by this flow chart or by this diagram you can see here, this is the alveolar membrane. The membrane of the alveoli are the lung cells. You can assume like this. Alveolus, only a single chamber. Actually it is present in the bunch amount. It is like a bunch of grapes, or you can say it like a bunches are present in the lungs, but we are not taking all this. We are just taking a one membrane, one cells of the alveoli. Here see on the flow of the blood in the arterial membrane or in the blood capillary. This arterial blood means this is the blood coming from the arteries. How it will be take place? See here, this is the alveolar membrane. The blood flow into the RBCs and the bloodstream. Oxygen plus hemoglobin combines and form the oxyhemoglobin. So two methods are there. The one method is that directly dissolved into the blood plasma. This is the first method. And the another method is this combined with the hemoglobin and form the oxyhemoglobin. And then this form of oxyhemoglobin is enter into the another cells, the transport into the cells, and again it will be break down into the hemoglobin and free form of oxygen. When it will be reach into the cell, this oxyhemoglobin HbO2 is break into free form of Hb and free form of oxygen. Before the formation of this, these free form are combined to form the oxyhemoglobin. But when it will be reach into the cell to produce the free form of oxygen, it will be break in the form of hemoglobin separates and oxygen is released. This is the process to produce the energy into the cell. And then when it is entering into the cell, this oxygen is dissolved into the plasma and reaches into another cell and to process out the cellular used into the cellular respiration. The free form of oxygen is released and it will be enters into the another cell to carry out the cellular respiration. So this is the total phenomenon which is happening behind this total process. So first of all you have to remember that it will be carried out by the two methods. One is by directly dissolved into the plasma. This is the first way. The another way is that it is combined with the hemoglobin. When it is combined with the RBCs or the blood cells, the free form of oxygen is combined with the hemoglobin and form the oxyhemoglobin is formed. And when it is enter into the cell, this oxyhemoglobin is break down into free form of hemoglobin plus it releases the oxygen. It releases oxygen. So this you can see these two equations. There is a little bit difference is there. Oxygen before formation of oxyhemoglobin, this oxygen is combined with the hemoglobin and form the oxyhemoglobin, and after it will be reaches into the cell. This oxyhemoglobin is break down into the free form of hemoglobin and the releases oxygen to carry out the cellular respiration. And then we have that oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin, means how much of the oxygen molecules can hold by a hemoglobin molecule. Oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin is the amount of oxygen transported by 1 gram of hemoglobin. Suppose the 1 gram of hemoglobin, how much molecules of oxygen is carry? Here the hemoglobin is act as a carrier, means it will be transported from the one place to the another place. So hemoglobin is act as a carrier. That's why if we talk about the carrying capacity, means the holding capacity of 1 gram of hemoglobin, it will be how many molecules of oxygen is carried out by the hemoglobin. It is like a 1.34 milliliter per gram. So how many? 1.34 milliliter per gram. Each gram of hemoglobin carries the 1.34 milliliter of the oxygen. And oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, if we talk about the blood, that is like a oxygen carrying capacity of the blood refers to the amount of oxygen transported by the blood. Hemoglobin carrying capacity is the carrying capacity of the hemoglobin. Oxygen carrying capacity of the blood means the carrying capacity of the blood, how much quantity we transported with the help of the blood or through the blood. Normal hemoglobin content in the blood is 15 grams. This is a normal value mentioned here. And if we see that since oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin is 1.34 milliliter per gram, blood with 15 gram percentage of hemoglobin should carry. If we calculate both the percentages, so it will be approximate near to the 20.1 milliliter percentage. That is 20 milliliter of oxygen in 100 ml of blood. If we take the 100 ml of blood, so a 100 ml of blood can carry the 20 milliliter of oxygen. So 20%. Suppose if we are taking a 100 ml of the 100 percentage of the blood, in this 20 percentage is the oxygen. If we talk about the percentage of the oxygen, how much oxygen is carried out? In the 100% of the blood, 20% is the oxygen. So percentage, according to the percentage of the blood, it will be like a 20% it dissolved into the 100% of the blood. This is the total carrying capacity of the oxygen. If we talk about only the hemoglobin carrying capacity, that is about 1.3 milliliter per gram, but only the blood carrying capacity is about 15 grams. If we combine these two percentages or the ratio, then we are getting that in the 100 ml or the 100 percentage of the blood, 20% is the oxygen is dissolved. 100 in the 100, 20 is oxygen. And see, this is the hemoglobin structure. As we know, it is consist of 4 chiral rings and alpha chains and the beta chains are present. This is a polypeptide. And let me tell you, hemoglobin is nothing but it is a protein molecules. It is also a protein. It contains like a 2 alpha chain, 2 beta chains and heavy chains like this. This is the alpha chain, and again it carries this one, the red color, whatever the red color is there indicator. This is the heme, iron molecule. Heme is nothing but iron, which is again in the form of ferrous in nature. And these are the two alpha chains and this one is the beta chains. Four chains are present and this shows the four chiral rings in which each ring hold in the centrally the iron molecule is present. By the presence of this iron molecule, it has the capacity to convert into the ferric form of iron into the ferrous form by the presence of oxygen. So see here in this picture, this is the alpha chain, alpha 1, alpha 2, two alpha chains are there. Another one beta 1 and the beta 2, two beta chains are present and each chain contains a heme molecule. Heme, and that heme molecule, this yellowish color one is the heme molecule. This is the iron or the heme molecule and the red one is the, this is the oxygen. So each heme molecule has the structures to hold the oxygen molecule and it may contains, if we talk the structure of hemoglobin, basically the hemoglobin contains the four chains, two alpha chains and the two beta chains, and these two alpha chains are nominated as alpha 1, alpha 2 and two beta chains are nominated as beta 1 and the beta 2, and each chain contains the heme molecule and that heme molecule has the capacity to hold the oxygen. And see here some main points are mentioning here. Each hemoglobin can carry the 4 oxygen. So why it is the 4 oxygen? Why? Because efficiency is there 1, 2, 3, 4. It has the 4 chains, 4 heme molecules like this yellow one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 side 4 heme molecules and so it carries the 4 oxygen. So this is the efficiency. Each heme molecule contains or it receives the 4 molecules of oxygen. Each hemoglobin can carry the 4 oxygen. One RBC contains 250 million hemoglobin molecules. See how much number is, very much large number is there. Each one RBC, we are talking about only one red blood cell, it contains 250 million hemoglobin. So can carry 1 billion oxygen, 250 million, and each 250 million has the carrying capacity of 4 oxygen molecules. As a result, it will be carry 1 billion oxygen molecules. 250 millions are hemoglobin molecules and it carries the 1 billion of, means 4 rate is more than this, so it receives that how many, 1 billion of oxygen molecules. So next we have that 1 gram of hemoglobin combine 1.34 milliliter of oxygen. 100 ml of blood contains 15 gram of hemoglobin. So we discuss about this ratio before only. So totally 20 milliliter of oxygen is carried by the 100 milliliter of the blood. In the 100 percentage of the blood, 20 percentage of the oxygen is dissolved. How much oxygen dissolved? 20%. In the how much quantity of the blood? 100% of the blood oxygen contains 20%. And after that we have the saturation of hemoglobin with the oxygen. So let me tell you the definition for saturation. Saturation is the state or the condition where the hemoglobin is unable to hold or carry any more oxygen. So if it is filled up with all the molecules of the oxygen. So as we know, suppose here the 100 hemoglobin molecules are there, it will be totally bind up with the, each one is carry the 100 into 4, suppose here the 400, total oxygen molecules are combined. 100 into 4, it is like a 400 molecules. Means each molecule of hemoglobin carry the 4 oxygen molecules. The efficiency, it could be like a 400. So it is getting into enough. It is fulfilled with that. There is no space. Then that condition is called as the saturation. It is totally saturated. So to understand this, you can take the one example of sugar is dissolved into water. When we are adding the sugar into the water, at one condition, it is not going to be dissolved. It is not going to be dissolved. It is stay as such. Why? Because the water molecules are end up to dissolve or carry the sugar molecules. At one particular stage, the sugar is not going to be dissolved. But if we are doing some heat, if we are putting some heat, then that sugar is going to be melt. Means in that case, the gaps between the vacancy between the water molecules is increased. But in the blood condition, there is a not that much of condition. So the phenomena or the state or the condition where the hemoglobin molecules are fulfill bound with the oxygen molecule. So there is no much space for addition oxygen molecules to hold into the hemoglobin. That condition is defined as saturation. This is a saturation. What is the saturation here? The saturation is the state or the condition when the hemoglobin is unable to hold or carry any more oxygen. It is saying that there is no any much space or enough to the oxygen molecule. The saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen depends upon the partial pressure of oxygen. A rise in partial pressure of oxygen is accompanied by the rise in arterial oxygen saturation. So this is a depend upon the partial pressure of oxygen. So what is the meaning of partial pressure of oxygen? The arterial pressure, whatever the arterial pressure is there, that is accompanied or that is related with the oxygen holding capacity, and it is explained by oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. To understand the saturation of the oxygen, we have the one curve. That curve is called as the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Here we are not saying about the association. We are not discussing about the association. Association is the condition of the binding condition, whereas dissociation is the breakdown of the oxygen and the hemoglobin. How the oxygen and the hemoglobin is going to be break. The oxygen and the hemoglobin is going to be break, and as a result it will be produce or release the free oxygen through the hemoglobin. So here some of the values are there. 100% is combined with the 4 binding, means 4 oxygen molecules are binding. In this first condition, partial pressure is about like a 95 mm per Hg, and if it is in the 75%, then 3 oxygen molecules are bind. Partial pressure is 40 mm Hg. If it is combined with the 2% or the 2 oxygen molecule, it shows the 50%. The partial pressure is about the 25 to 27. If it is only the 1 oxygen molecule is combined, then the percentage is 25%, and the partial pressure is about the 15 mm Hg. So see here, by this picture you can easily understand how the oxygen molecules are, how these oxygen molecules are. It is combined with the, or it is attached with the hemoglobin molecules. So see, this is a pure form of water. This is a pure form of water. There is a no mean of any hemoglobin, and this is a oxygen. It is combined with the water. In the second condition, addition of hemoglobin to the right side. These hemoglobin molecules are attached to the right side, and in this new equilibrium is formed. Whatever the free form of water or the hemoglobin molecules are there, it is combined with this. Each are combined with the four side. You can see here. Each hemoglobin is bounded with 4. This is a 4 side, 1 2 3 4, like this 4 side. It is combined with the 4 oxygen molecule. Next we have the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. This hemoglobin's affinity for oxygen, it is hemoglobin is saturated with oxygen up to 95% only. It is like a 95% only. So by this we are end up with the topic.